Life Audio.
Welcome to the Crosswalk Devotional. We're glad to have you listening with us. Today's topic is how the Holy Spirit moves in our lives. We'll return with the devotional after a brief message from our sponsors.
Caring for someone with dementia is one of the toughest journeys, but you don't have to do it alone. I'm Allison Schreier, and my experience caring for my husband inspired me to create Zinnia, a therapeutic streaming service designed to support people living with dementia and reduce caregiver stress. Zinnia offers research-backed videos intentionally created for people with dementia, engaging, calming, and easy to follow. Whether you need to ease agitation, create moments of joy, or make daily routines smoother, Zinnia is here to help. Family and professional caregivers use our content to turn challenges into opportunities for connection. Accessible by subscription on mobile devices and connected TVs, Zinnia is simple to use whenever you need it. Because when caregiving feels easier, life feels better. Go to zinniatv.com and sign up for a free trial today. Use the code RESOURCE for 15% off an annual Zinnia subscription.
The Holy Spirit is moving in our lives, written and read by Whitney Hopler. The wind blows wherever it pleases. You hear its sound, but you cannot tell where it comes from or where it is going. So it is with everyone born of the Spirit. John 3:8 NIV. When I left a grocery store one day in March, I was hit by surprise with the force of a strong wind. My shopping cart rolled away after I let go of it by my car. I chased it through the parking lot and rolled it back to my car so I could start loading the groceries inside. But as I did so, a gust of wind blew over my shopping bags, picking up a package of paper towels and sending it airborne. So I chased the paper towels as well, and by the time I was ready to get in the car myself, I had to pull my hardest to close the door against the forceful wind. March often features strong, unpredictable winds. These wind gusts happen when cold air and warm air meet, as the seasons change from winter to spring. March winds remind us of the unseen forces at work in our world. In John 3:8, Jesus uses the imagery of the wind to illustrate the Holy Spirit. The strong winds of March can inspire us to pay attention to the Holy Spirit's movement in our lives. The wind is unpredictable. We can't fully understand it, and we can't tame its wild ways. The wind seems to appear out of nowhere and vanishes without warning. In the same way, the Holy Spirit operates beyond the limits of our human understanding. When Nicodemus struggled to understand the concept of being born again, Jesus used the wind to explain how the Spirit moves according to God's will, not our expectations. This reminds us that the Holy Spirit works in ways that may confuse or surprise us, yet those ways are always for good purposes. Just as we trust the wind's presence without seeing where it comes from or where it's going, Jesus calls us to trust the Holy Spirit, even when we can't predict how God's Spirit will move in our lives. The wind can be both gentle and fierce, and so can the Holy Spirit, who shows up both to give us quiet guidance and to bring dramatic change into our lives. The Bible describes in Galatians 5:22 through 23 how the Holy Spirit helps us individually learn how to grow in holiness by developing qualities called the fruit of the Spirit. In Acts 2, the Bible describes the Holy Spirit's arrival as a sound like the blowing of a violent wind, symbolizing the power that would help Jesus' disciples to spread the gospel around the world. We may encounter the Holy Spirit as quiet encouragement to forgive someone, through a persistent nudge to step out in faith, or during an awe-inspiring encounter that changes the course of our lives. Whether we experience the Holy Spirit in subtle or striking ways, the Spirit's power helps us live out God's purposes for us. On a hot day, a cool breeze refreshes us physically. The Holy Spirit renews us spiritually. Just as the wind can clear away stifling heat, The Spirit clears away our burdens of sin and fear, replacing them with peace and hope. When we feel discouraged, we can ask the Spirit to breathe new life into us to revive our hearts and minds. Just like sailors rely on the wind to guide their boats, the Holy Spirit guides us through life. If we're paying attention to the Spirit's leading, we gain the discernment we need to move in the best directions, which will lead us closer to God. But we need to surrender control to the Spirit to experience His full power. Just as a sailor must give up control to the wind, we must release our own plans and trust the Spirit to lead us back toward God's best for us. The physical winds that blow around us in God's creation can inspire us to pay attention to how the Holy Spirit is moving in our lives. When we do pay attention to the Spirit, we can be refreshed and renewed in powerful ways. Intersecting faith and life. As you consider how the Holy Spirit moves in your life, reflect on these questions. How have you experienced this Holy Spirit's guidance in your life? How can you better position yourself to sense the Spirit's direction for your decisions? In what ways do you struggle to trust the Spirit's leading, especially when you're dealing with fear? Think about a time when the Spirit refreshed or renewed your faith. How can that inspire you to trust the Spirit more going forward? Further reading, Acts 2:2, Galatians 5:25, Ezekiel 37:9, Isaiah 40:31, Romans 8:14.
The Crosswalk Devotional is a production of Life Audio and Salem Media. If you liked what you heard today, please take a second to rate and review this podcast in your favorite podcast app so that more listeners like you can find the show. For more faith-filled, inspirational podcasts, visit us at lifeaudio.com.
Need more of God's power in your life? I'm Christina Patterson, host of the Teach Us to Pray podcast, providing practical tips on how to grow your faith through prayer. Subscribe at lifeaudio.com.